Hi, I'm Roy, and this is my first tag video. So I've been tagged by MJ from Reading This Life. Super exciting moment, as I've only been doing booktube stuff for a few days. It's kind of like in mafia films where you get somebody becoming a made man. So the tag is the currently reading tag, which I'll put details about in the description. And watching other currently reading tag videos, it seems to be as much about reading habits as what one is actually currently reading. I will mention as context what I am currently reading. A huge book called Fighters of Fear, an anthology of occult detective stories edited by Mike Ashley, and it's good chunky 600 pager occult detective stories, chronologically from 19th century ones through to pretty much present day. I'm actually studying this kind of stuff. I'm doing a master's in 19th century studies, and my dissertation is going to be about occult detectives. So although I'm sort of reading it for pleasure, I've got half an academic eye on it as well, and it's kind of like, you know, two for the price of one, sort of virtuous. I'll probably make a video about occult detectives soon. Also, as this is Garb August, I've launched into a series of paperbacks called Spectros, about a master magician in the Old West. Probably more about them later. And talking of westerns, I was just in town, and it's really rare to find westerns in shops, in charity shops or wherever really. So when I found a few, I picked them up. So I've got Blizzard Justice, which might help cool down a bit, and Saloon Justice, because it's important to stay hydrated in this hot weather. Okay, so currently reading stuff. Onto the tag, which is a bunch of questions, which I will now endeavour to answer. Oh, hang on, I'm reading another book. I'm also reading on Kindle Dawn of Wonder, a fantasy book. Okay, onto the questions. Number one, how many books do you usually read at once? I think it's 2 or 3, but I'll often have a pile of other books I've bought recently sort of lying around that I'll be dipping into. But in terms of full-on reading chapters and stuff, I'd say 2 or 3, plus an audiobook. Tend to listen to an audiobook with my partner Jenny while we're eating our breakfast. So that's the answer to that one. Question 2. If you're reading more than one book at a time, how do you decide when to switch to reading the other book? Do you read a certain amount of pages in each? No, absolutely not. I just go on feel, really. You know, if I get fed up, okay, Wasp, you can go now. Yeah, I just dive in and out based on how it's holding my attention. You know, you're in this world for a bit, and then you want to go into that world for a bit. That's how it goes for me. Number 3, do you ever switch bookmarks while you're partway through a book? Now, I'm assuming this isn't some kind of trick question, and it actually is referring to bookmarks, as in things you put in the book to know where you are. So here's the thing with me and bookmarks. I have many of them, many. I've also got variants on bookmarks, things like special low tack post-it notes, and I once bought something called book darts, which are little copper clips, so you can sort of put them over the pages. But these never ever find their way into the books. Somehow when I'm reading and I reach out to grab a bookmark, it's not there. I can't be bothered to go and find a real bookmark. So the things that get used as bookmarks could be anything: bits of junk mail, parts of packets torn off. I'm not above slightly folding the page down, almost as if I haven't really folded it, but it's just going to put enough of a little kink in so I'll be able to find the space again. So switching bookmarks doesn't really come into it, because I'm using like anything, pens sometimes as well. Yeah, a bit of a confession there. Where do you keep the book you're currently reading? Basically, I have a chair where I'm often sitting around when I'm not doing things that aren't sitting around, and that has books piled up around it. So it's on a table next to that chair. Plus, I like to read Kindle books on my phone, even though I've got a Kindle and a pad. The phone does it for me. So in a sense, I've always got a book with me. Number 5, what time of day do you spend the most time reading? Late at night usually. Yeah, during lockdown, sleep patterns changed to not really dropping off till quite late, so it's usually an hour or two of reading in the evening. Also, I've got this special bonus old person's thing of waking up in the middle of the night and having a gap. So in effect, I have two nights with a miniature day sandwiched in between the two, and that might be about 3 or 4 in the morning. So I could do some reading then as well. Something for you to look forward to, young people. How long do you typically read for in one go? I'm not sure about typically, because it could be anything from snatching a couple of minutes like during ad breaks while we're watching television to reading something for an hour or so, really. So yeah, I've got no sensible answer to that. Somewhere between 2 minutes and 2 hours. Do you read hardcovers with the dust jacket on or off? Don't really have many hardcovers, or if I do, they might be old ones where I probably wouldn't have the dust jacket. Almost always off, because whether it's a new book I'm trying to keep in pristine condition or an old book I've bought that might have some sort of value to it, I don't want to spoil that by messing up the dust jacket. So that'll be stashed somewhere. And some books that are like keepers, I've put the dust jacket in a plastic sleeve as well. Not the kind that adheres to the dust jacket. The dust jacket's fine. No dust jackets have been harmed in this process, but they've got plastic on them. Which position do you mainly use to read? Well, reading being a form of yoga, I adopt a full lotus position, with the book suspended in front of me on an apparatus I've constructed for that purpose. That's not a true answer. I tend to sort of sprawl around. For some reason, I can't sit properly in a chair. I've always got to put my legs up somewhere. Or I do sometimes sit cross-legged. They taught us to do that at school, and nobody ever told us to stop. So I'm sitting cross-legged now, as it happens. But yeah, usually in some kind of semi-prone position. Number 9. Do you take the book you're currently reading with you everywhere you go? In the sense that I've got my phone and the phone's got Kindle and that's got a bunch of books on it, then yes, I would probably not actually take a book out with me unless I knew I was going to a cafe or something to sit around for an hour and read. So physical books less likely, although I'm likely to acquire a book while I'm out and about. But yes, in the Kindle sense. Number 10, nearly there. How often do you update your progress in the book you're currently reading on Goodreads? Well, I hardly use Goodreads. Should I? What's the motivation? It's one of those things like I just don't quite get it. So if somebody wants to explain what's great about Goodreads, I'll probably start doing that properly. But I've never I've sometimes posted reviews for something I've finished. I've never done the progress thing, so I'm obviously missing out. It's just one of those things, like, I don't know, TikTok or whatever. What? Don't know. Okay, last prompt, which is about who would I like to tag. I thought about this. I'm a bit nervous about it as a completely new booktuber. So, I keep expecting there to be some kind of booktube council of elders kind of revealed as being the ones who set the rules and decree punishments for infractions. But assuming that isn't the case, just let me tag a couple of channels I really like. An Erudite Adventure, great channel. I've watched pretty much all of it, and actually I'm reading. That's where the Dawn of Wonder recommendation came from. So hooray for an Erudite Adventure. Um, one of my two tags is for you, and the other one will be for Booking with Debra, another channel I really like and get a lot out of. Always pleased when the videos show up. So two tags to do with As You Will. And thanks again to MJ for tagging me. I'm Mr. Roy. Hope you've enjoyed that. After this, I'll be getting back onto my. Okay, if you're thinking his garden has changed, I had to come in. I had to come inside because of, for agricultural reasons, a combine harvester was going past the back of our garden, which sounded like some sort of apocalyptic death machine. So I'm now hiding indoors, trying to keep out of the light. When I started making videos, I couldn't get enough light. Now it's like too much and everything's kind of blazing. So still trying to get the mix right. Anyway, that's me. Goodbye.